Hi guys, James Egan here. Last year, I did a video about the Super Smash Bros. Series. Since then, some of those facts have become outdated. For example, I said Super Smash Bros. Brawl was the most successful fighting game of all time. That's no longer true. And with the release of Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, I decided to make an updated version of that video. If you like these facts, check out my book, 1000 Facts About Video Games, Volume 1, 2, and 3. They're all available on paperback and Kindle on Amazon. Super Smash Bros. Is the most successful fighting game in Nintendo's history, not just because of its unique gameplay and mechanics, but also because it revolves around the most iconic Nintendo characters. Which is really ironic, because the original game wasn't supposed to include any Nintendo characters like Mario, Fox, Samus, Pikachu, or Donkey Kong. When the prototype was unveiled to Nintendo, the developers put in Mario, Link, and Yoshi to grab the executives' attention, but they had every intention of swapping them for other characters. Nintendo loved the idea of Mario fighting other Nintendo characters and accepted the idea. And that is the first fact about the Super Smash Bros. Franchise. Let's dive in. Okay, let's look at the original game. The first Super Smash Bros. Came out in 1999. Its original title was Dragon King. The game was made by Masahiro Sakurai. He also created Kirby for the Game Boy. Also, let me know if you want me to do a video about Kirby. In the Japanese version, Kirby's level is called Poo 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 Land. Nobody in the world knows why they changed it. The game was only supposed to be released in Japan. When it was released in America, it sold more copies than in Japan. In a Japanese version, the sound effects of punches and kicks sounds more realistic. In the American and European versions, the sounds are more cartoony. Nintendo considered having the characters show damage the more they got hit. So if Link got hit too much, his shield would dent, or if Captain Falcon got hit too many times, his helmet would crack. This idea was used for Mortal Kombat Deadly Alliance. The game's codename was Pepsi Man. Super Smash Bros. Melee came out in 2001. It was the most successful game to come out for the Nintendo GameCube. If you look at the bottom of the barrel cannon trophy, it reads 2L84ME, which is meant to mean too late for me. This game was rated T for teen. This is the first game ever starring Mario that had a rating higher than E for everyone. If you win a fight without attacking your opponent and avoid being attacked, you will receive the bonus Switzerland. This is a reference to Switzerland's neutrality during World War II. Every single child who played this game totally got that reference. The lead developer worked so hard he passed out one day and needed to be hooked up on an IV. In fact, during this entire project, he took one day off. If you look at the inside of the trophy of Daisy's head, you can see a third eye. A glitch in a game allows player 3 to play as the boss, Master Hand. If you look at the Metal Mario trophy, you can see a reflection of the Yoshi Island stage. If you look at the reflection of the Metroid trophy, you can see the title screen of the game, Super Metroid. If you look at the emblem on the Fire Kirby trophy, you can see a reflection of a baby's face. This was the first Smash Bros. Game with Marth and Roy. The Western audience were quite confused by these characters, having no idea what game they were from. They were from Fire Emblem, which was only released in Japan. Nintendo hoped that Marth and Roy would become popular from Super Smash Bros., which would allow the company to make games for Western audiences. Their plan worked, and they made Fire Emblem for the Game Boy Advance, which was very successful. If you pause the game near the edge of the Mushroom Kingdom and then rotate the camera to see the level's corner, you will see a danger sign. If your character touches this danger sign, they will instantly die. These signs are on the edges of every level, but the Mushroom Kingdom is the only level where they can be seen. Nintendo wanted a character to encapsulate the 1980s era of gaming for Super Smash Bros. Melee. They strongly considered Balloon Fighter before settling on the Ice Climbers. Super Smash Bros. Brawl came out in 2008. If you choose a one-on-one fight with Snake and don't press anything for a while, your commander will call you and give you details about your opponent.
Otacon, there's a chimpanzee here wearing a Nintendo hat.
That's Diddy Kong. He's Donkey Kong's partner.
He's not a chimpanzee. Chimpanzees don't have tails, you numpty.
The announcer is Pat Cashman. He is the announcer of Bill Nye's show, The Science Guy. Aura channeler Chris wrote a piece of fanfiction about the story mode of Super Smash Bros. Brawl called The Subspace Emissaries World's Conquest. This story is 4 million words long. At the time, it was the longest fanfiction ever written. To comprehend how mind-boggling that is, look at it this way. The entire Harry Potter series is made up of 4,101 pages. This book is 14,800 pages, meaning it's over triple the size of the Harry Potter series. It was the longest fanfiction ever written until the release of a book called Ambience, which is only 145 words longer. That means it beat it by just a page or so. Super Smash Bros. Wii U and Super Smash Bros. 3DS came out in 2014. The first Super Smash Bros. Game was only 16 megabytes. Super Smash Bros. Wii U was 15.6 gigabytes, making it almost 1,000 times bigger. The creator spent so much time with this game, he suffered calcific tendonitis in his shoulder. He suffers progressively more injuries every time he makes one of these games. By the next game, he's just going to explode. The Pokemon Greninja was chosen to be in Super Smash Bros. Wii U before he appeared in a Pokemon game. Ryu was the first character in the franchise to have more than one Final Smash. Heihachi from the Tekken series was considered as a playable character. Mii fighters are fighters that the player can design. They are usually based on the player's appearance. Mii fighters cannot be used for fights online as the developers worried it would encourage bullying. The Wii U and 3DS version of Smash Bros. Were supposed to have the same characters. For some reason, the Ice Climbers kept glitching in the 3DS version. Although they worked perfectly in the Wii U version, they had to be scrapped for both versions of the game. And now let's do what you came to this video for. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate came out in 2017. Upon its release, Ultimate contained 74 playable characters. New characters include King K. Rool, Dark Samus, Ridley, and the Inklings. The Inklings were the first new characters revealed for the game. This game includes every character in Smash Bros. History. This means that this is the first Smash Bros. Sequel not to cut any playable characters. This is referenced in the game's tagline, "Everyone is here." The most requested character in the history of Smash Bros. Is the Dragon Ridley from the Metroid series. Time and time again, the animator said this was impossible since Ridley was simply too big. When Ridley was officially announced for this game, his introduction tagline read, "Ridley hits the big time," as a reference to his enormous size. If you zoom out in the Game & Watch level, you will see the entire area takes place on an actual Game & Watch console. Oh my god, I didn't know that, that's so cool. The bosses from the previous game, Rayquaza, Petey Piranha, Porky, and Doo-Won, were meant to appear, but they were removed for unknown reasons. There are about 900 songs in this game. It would take over 28 hours to listen to every one of them. Within 5 weeks, Ultimate was the most successful game in the series. Arina Koga sings the game's main theme song. She was only 17 when she was offered the role. The DLC character, Joker, is voiced by Xander Mobus, who also provides the voice of the announcer and Master Hand. Some levels are banned in tournaments because expert players can take advantage of certain glitches. This is the 100th time that Charles Martinet has provided the voice of Super Mario.
It's me, Mario! Woohoo!
Some playable characters that were considered were Toad, Excitebike Racer, Mew, and James Bond. Masashiro Sakurai intended every Smash Bros. Game to be the last in the series. This mentality made the developers go into every game with all their ideas thrown in, rather than saving ideas for a sequel, making the games as good as possible. And let's just do a completely random one for the final fact. Sometimes when Pit is KO'd, he shouts that he never learned to read. Thanks for watching, don't forget to subscribe. If there's any other games you want me to do a video about, let me know and I'll upload it as soon as possible.